8 stars that became homeless or went completely broke. Their lives were once filled with fame, fortune, and red carpet glamour. But behind the scenes, everything was falling apart. Some were beloved child stars, others ruled Hollywood blockbusters, yet they all faced shocking downfalls, losing their wealth, homes, and even their dignity. From bad financial decisions to addiction and legal troubles, these celebrities went from riches to ruin. What led to their downfall? And could their fate have been avoided? Stay tuned as we uncover the heartbreaking stories of stars who lost it all. Corey Haim. Corey Haim was one of Hollywood's brightest young stars in the 1980s, but his career took a devastating turn, leaving him financially ruined and struggling to survive. Best known for The Lost Boys, 1987, Lucas, 1986, and License to Drive, 1988, Haim enjoyed a meteoric rise to fame. At his peak, he was receiving over 2,000 fan letters a week, and his boyish charm made him one of the most sought-after teen heartthrobs of his time. However, the pressures of early fame and exposure to drugs at a young age led him down a dark path of addiction and financial instability. Haim's battle with substance abuse severely impacted his career. Once commanding 6-figure paychecks per film, he found himself struggling to find work by the late 1990s. In 2001, an E! True Hollywood Story episode revealed the extent of his decline. He was living in a small garage apartment with his mother, attempting to re-enter Hollywood. In the documentary, he appeared disoriented and unintelligible at times, a stark contrast to the vibrant young actor he once was. As his financial troubles worsened, Haim resorted to desperate measures. He attempted to sell his hair and a removed tooth on eBay to make ends meet. A pawn shop owner later recounted that Haim once begged for just $3 to buy a slice of pizza. His attempts at a comeback, including releasing an autobiography and starring in reality TV, failed to revive his career or ease his financial burdens. On March 10, 2010, Haim died from pneumonia at age 38. His years of drug abuse had left him physically vulnerable, and his finances were so depleted that his family had to ask for donations to cover his funeral expenses. His tragic downfall serves as a sobering reminder of how quickly fame and fortune can disappear. Margot Kidder. Margot Kidder rose to international fame as Lois Lane in Superman, 1978, starring alongside Christopher Reeve. Her performance was widely praised, and she reprised the role in 3 sequels, solidifying her place in Hollywood. In addition to her Superman success, she starred in the Amityville Horror, 1979, which became a box office hit. However, despite her career accomplishments, Kidder faced severe financial and personal struggles that led to a period of homelessness. In 1990, while working on a film set, Kidder was involved in a serious car accident that left her with spinal injuries. The resulting medical issues left her unable to work for nearly 2 years. Without a steady income, her finances deteriorated rapidly, and she eventually declared bankruptcy. The once successful actress found herself drowning in debt, unable to maintain the Hollywood lifestyle she had once enjoyed. In 1996, Kidder suffered a public mental health crisis that would become one of the most infamous episodes of her life. She experienced a severe manic episode caused by untreated bipolar disorder. After disappearing for several days, she was found living on the streets of Los Angeles, hiding in bushes and sleeping in cardboard boxes. Reports described her as nearly unrecognizable. Her hair had been chopped off, and she had missing teeth. Her story made headlines, drawing attention to both her financial struggles and her deteriorating mental health. Fortunately, Kidder was able to rebuild her life in later years. She sought treatment for her bipolar disorder and moved to Montana, where she became an activist and continued working in film and television in smaller roles. However, in 2018, at the age of 69, she died from a suicide involving alcohol and drugs. Her tragic journey remains a stark example of how Hollywood success can be fleeting. Leif Garrett. Leif Garrett was one of the most recognizable faces of the 1970s, achieving fame as both an actor and pop singer. With his golden hair and boyish good looks, he became a teen heartthrob, starring in TV series like 3 for the Road, and appearing in films such as The Outsiders. His music career also took off, with hits like I Was Made for Dancin', 1978, earning him international success. But as quickly as his star rose, it fell, leading him down a path of drug addiction, legal trouble, and financial ruin. By the mid-1980s, Garrett's career had collapsed. His acting roles became infrequent, and his music was no longer topping the charts. His life took a tragic turn in 1979 when he was involved in a car accident that left his best friend, Roland Winkler, paralyzed. Garrett had been driving under the influence, and the guilt from the incident weighed heavily on him for years. He soon spiraled into drug addiction, which further destroyed his career. As his finances dwindled, Garrett was arrested multiple times for drug-related offenses, including heroin possession. In 2004 and 2006, he was caught with narcotics and faced jail time. His struggles continued into the 2010s, with yet another drug arrest in 2010. Years of addiction drained his wealth, leaving him with little financial stability. Despite several attempts at rehabilitation, Garrett never fully recovered his former success. His net worth plummeted to nearly nothing, and he became a cautionary tale of how fame can vanish in an instant. While he occasionally resurfaces in interviews and reality shows, the former teen idol remains a shadow of his past self, a stark reminder of Hollywood's unforgiving nature. Lonnie Willison. Lonnie Willison was once a thriving fitness model and magazine cover star, best known for her toned physique and glamorous red carpet appearances. She was also married to Baywatch actor Jeremy Jackson, which further kept her in the public eye. In the early 2000s, she lived a high-profile lifestyle, frequently seen at Hollywood events. However, a downward spiral triggered by mental health struggles, substance abuse, and financial ruin would leave her homeless on the streets of Los Angeles. Her troubles began after her 2014 divorce from Jackson, which reportedly turned violent and left her emotionally devastated. In the following years, she suffered a severe mental breakdown, which prevented her from maintaining steady work. As her condition worsened, she developed a dependence on drugs, further isolating herself from friends and family. By 2016, Willison lost her rented apartment and could no longer afford to keep her car. Without a stable income, she was unable to recover financially. Once a fitness icon, she began living on the streets of Santa Monica, surviving on scraps, and pushing a shopping cart filled with belongings. The stark contrast between her past and present was heartbreaking. Her once glamorous appearance faded as she became gaunt, toothless, and unrecognizable to those who had followed her career. Although some attempts were made to help her, including offers from former colleagues and intervention programs, she reportedly refused assistance, citing paranoia and distrust. Willison remains homeless, wandering the streets of Los Angeles, a tragic example of how quickly life can unravel when mental health issues, addiction, and financial hardship intersect. Wesley Snipes. Wesley Snipes was one of Hollywood's biggest action stars in the 1990s and early 2000s. Known for roles in New Jack City, 1991, White Men Can't Jump, 1992, and Blade, 1998. His charisma and martial arts skills made him a fan favorite, and his films collectively earned hundreds of millions at the box office. However, despite his financial success, Snipes found himself entangled in severe legal and tax troubles that led to his imprisonment and near financial ruin. At the height of his career, Snipes was making millions per film. However, between 1999 and 2004, he stopped paying federal taxes on his income, attempting to claim that he was a non-resident alien not subject to U.S. tax laws. His unpaid tax debt ballooned to $23.5 million. In 2006, he was charged with multiple counts of tax fraud, and after a lengthy legal battle, he was convicted in 2008 of willfully failing to file tax returns. Rather than receiving a fine or probation, Snipes was sentenced to 3 years in federal prison. His time behind bars, from 2010 to 2013, effectively ended his dominance in Hollywood. During his incarceration, his financial status deteriorated, and he was forced to sell off assets to cover his legal debts. After his release, Snipes attempted a return to acting, But the industry had moved on. He made occasional appearances in lower-budget films and had a small role in Coming to America, 2021. However, he never regained the career momentum he once had. While not completely broke, his financial and professional downfall was a cautionary tale of how legal troubles can swiftly dismantle even the most successful Hollywood careers. Erin Moran. Erin Moran became a household name as Joni Cunningham on the hit sitcom Happy Days, 1974 to 1984. With her youthful charm and comedic timing, she won over audiences and even landed her own spin-off, Joni Loves Chachi, 1982, alongside Scott Baio. However, despite her early success, Moran's career quickly declined after the sitcom ended, leading to financial struggles, depression, and homelessness. Unlike some child stars who transitioned smoothly into adult acting, Moran found it difficult to secure roles after Happy Days. The industry typecast her as Joni, limiting her opportunities. As the acting offers dried up, so did her finances. By the late 1980s, she was struggling with depression and found herself unable to sustain a stable career. In 2010, reports surfaced that Moran had lost her California home to foreclosure. With no steady income, she and her husband Steve Fleischman moved into a trailer home owned by his mother in Indiana. However, their living situation became unstable after an alleged drunken altercation with her mother-in-law, which reportedly led to Moran being kicked out. In the following years, she was spotted homeless, bouncing between motels, relying on friends for shelter, and battling personal demons. On April 22, 2017, Moran was found unresponsive at the age of 56. Initially, rumors speculated drug or alcohol involvement, but toxicology reports revealed she had stage 4 throat cancer, which ultimately claimed her life. She spent her final days in financial hardship, a stark contrast to the bright-eyed teenager who once graced primetime television. Her story remains one of Hollywood's most heartbreaking examples of a former star slipping through the cracks. Gary Coleman. Gary Coleman became one of television's most beloved child actors with his role as Arnold Jackson in Diff'rent Strokes, 1978 to 1986. With his catchphrase, "What you talkin' 'bout, Willis?" he charmed audiences and became a cultural icon. Despite earning millions from the show, Coleman faced severe financial and personal struggles later in life, leading to bankruptcy and a series of misfortunes. Born with a congenital kidney disease, Coleman underwent multiple surgeries and received lifelong dialysis treatments, which stunted his growth at just 4 feet 8 inches. His medical issues did not stop him from reaching superstardom, but behind the scenes, his earnings were being mismanaged. By the time Diff'rent Strokes ended, Coleman discovered that his parents and business advisor had mishandled his fortune, leaving him with a fraction of what he had earned. In 1989, he sued them and was awarded $1.3 million, but legal fees and mounting debts quickly drained that amount. By the 1990s, he was no longer securing major acting roles and took on low-paying jobs, including working as a security guard. His financial troubles worsened, and in 1999, he filed for bankruptcy, citing medical expenses and past financial mismanagement. His personal life also made headlines. He was frequently involved in legal disputes, including incidents of assault and disorderly conduct. In his final years, Coleman lived modestly, struggling with health issues and declining finances. On May 28, 2010, he died at the age of 42 after suffering a brain hemorrhage from a fall. Despite once being one of the highest-paid child actors on television, he passed away with minimal assets. His life serves as a tragic example of how Hollywood fame can be fleeting, especially for child stars who are exploited and left with nothing. Brett Butler. Brett Butler rose to fame in the 1990s as the star of the ABC sitcom Grace Under Fire, 1993 to 1998. Known for her sharp wit and Southern charm, she was one of the most successful female comedians of her time, earning widespread recognition and even a Golden Globe nomination. At the height of her career, Butler was making $250,000 per episode, with a net worth estimated at over $25 million. However, a series of poor financial decisions, struggles with addiction, and professional missteps led her from sitcom stardom to homelessness. Despite her success, Butler battled a serious addiction to prescription painkillers, which worsened over the years. Her erratic behavior on set, fueled by substance abuse, led to frequent delays and conflicts with cast and crew. Eventually, ABC canceled Grace Under Fire in 1998, leaving Butler without a steady income. With no new major acting roles, and her addiction spiraling out of control, her wealth quickly disappeared. By the early 2000s, she was forced to leave Hollywood and lived in various rehabilitation centers and shelters. In a 2011 interview, Butler revealed that she had spent time in homeless shelters in Georgia, relying on the kindness of strangers to survive. By 2018, she attempted to revive her career with occasional guest roles in television, but when the COVID-19 pandemic hit, Hollywood productions came to a halt. Unable to work, she fell behind on rent and faced eviction. One of her close friends started a GoFundMe campaign to help her stay in her apartment, raising over $12,000. Although Butler has made small comebacks in recent years, her story remains a cautionary tale of how sudden wealth can disappear without proper financial planning, and how addiction can derail even the most promising careers. The stories of these once famous stars serve as powerful reminders of how quickly fortune can fade in Hollywood. From financial mismanagement to addiction and personal struggles, their journeys highlight the darker side of fame that many don't see. While some managed to rebuild their lives, others were never able to recover from their hardships. What do you think is the biggest challenge celebrities face when their careers decline? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button. It really helps us out. And if you want to see more stories like this, be sure to subscribe to All About Hollywood for the latest deep dives into the entertainment world. Your support keeps us going. So click that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.